What's up guys, this is Albie T from Combat Culture, and today we're starting a new series where we ask a coach some of the questions that you guys have been asking us. And today we have a special guest. It is Kru Rob from Squared Circle. So Kru Rob, you've been doing this for quite some time.
I've been training Muay Thai now since 1994, 95. Started training, did some competing, then I started moving into teaching and coaching in different places, and then I finally opened up my own spot, Square Circle, New York, and we've now been running our gym about 10 years now.
Nice to have you. And the first question we have is, for people that are looking to get into Muay Thai, where do they begin? How do they start to look?
They need to understand what Muay Thai is first. They need to understand what that is, and yeah, you can use the internet, you can use all sorts of research materials and social media accounts and try to find the information that way. What you need to do is you need to find out if that's going to be a good fit for you. The first place that most people try to look is they look locally. Locally meaning within 1 mile radius. That's the first thing that I would do.
And then, let's just say we go on Yelp, Instagram, we find a couple of gyms. How can we tell a good gym from a bad gym? What are some immediate red flags?
Instead of focusing on the bad, what I would try to do is I'd try to focus on actually the good. If you've never been into a gym before, you've never been into one of these places and you're trying to figure out how it looks, is this a right fit for me, what to expect, the first impressions are usually through the websites and then through their social media accounts. This will give you a quick snapshot, a window into what's going on at that particular school. That should be your first look. If you've never heard of the gym before, you've never heard of these different places, you've never been into one of these places before.
Let's just say we found a couple that we think might be a good fit. Is there any things that we can maybe do a little bit more research in terms of who are the main coaches, or maybe who are some of the fighters that can help us determine oh, this is a good gym, or maybe this isn't as good as they market themselves to be?
If you're looking for Muay Thai, you've never done this before. It's not going to matter the type of coach, the number of fighters. It goes back to exactly what I just said. If you can get a window, a snapshot into how the gym looks, how it might feel, you should be okay, all right? Having not any further information regarding this type of gym, they're on the top 5, or that type of gym, they're in the top 10. They've got these fighters that are on this circuit, and that, blah, 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 blah. That's not going to matter to you if you're doing this the first time. All you care about is the 4 basic things that you're looking for in a gym. You're looking for the atmosphere. That's the first thing. You want it to be a comfortable atmosphere where you don't feel anxious or a high sense of anxiety. So the second part is having a good sense of control and the respect that's shown to each of the students. Right? So what does that mean? So control meaning that the amount of technique that's being shown and that's going through on the class, you should be able to ascertain whether or not there is that level of control, that partners that are working with each other are working with each other. They're not working against each other. They're not trying to knock each other out, that kind of thing. That goes hand in hand with respect. Partners are showing respect to each other, showing respect to the school and to the coaches. And just being respectful and mindful of it. That it's not just you that's training, there's a bunch of people that are around you that are also training as well. The third thing is improvement. Will I be able to improve? Does the school have a structured program that will give me the ability to improve? If I can quantify that, then that would be great too. And the last one, it's dedication of the instructors and of the school. How dedicated are they to the students? How dedicated are they to the school? Are the instructors there trying to help you? Even though it's a group class, are they trying to approach you, or each person, hey, keep your hand up. Keep your hands up when you do this, when you do that. Or are they off in a corner and they're just kind of letting the class go as it goes? You have to pay attention to these little things.
The next question is kind of piggybacking off of what you just said here. For someone that's just getting into this, is there a difference between maybe taking group classes or private lessons just to kind of get jump started? What's your thoughts on that?
Many people have different takes on how to approach this. If you like the group atmosphere and you like being around people, which most people do, you should definitely do a group class training session. Most schools, most gyms have a free trial class, and they offer that to anybody that's interested in giving it a try to see how that works. The way that I would look for that also is that you make sure, obviously, that the free trial class is in a all levels type of programming, where all skill sets are allowed to work with one another. Obviously, you wouldn't want a new person to do a free trial class in a sparring scenario If you don't have the basic foundation, the skill set, then that's kind of reckless. It's also reckless on the owners. Another thing is, if you have the means, okay, and you feel more inclined, you also have a different timetable than most people, because most classes are in the evening, some are in the morning, some are in the afternoon. And then if your timetables don't work there, then maybe private would actually work better for you. But when I say have the means, again, private instruction, that actually is a little bit extra money. It's because of the fact that it's a private and it's off of the regular scheduled program or classes.
So, the next part of the video, we want to talk about some of the concerns that, a lot of people that are looking into this, right? So let's just say, Kru Rob, we found a gym. A question that we get asked a lot is, am I too old?
Okay, so that's a fair question. No one is never too old, all right? You're never too old. The real question is, are you able to perform regular exercises within that structured programming? That's the real question. And if you're not sure, what you should do is you should always consult with your doctor first to make sure that you are able to basically perform regular exercises that won't hurt you. The most senior member that we had was maybe about 65. This person was doing what everybody else was doing and just working hard.
And Kru Rob, I guess on the other side of the spectrum, a lot of parents watching this want their child, or children to get into Muay Thai. What do you think is a good age, for a youngster to get started?
Okay, so this also is a very, very good question. For us, our children's program starts at 5. From there, it goes up. Anything that is less than that, pretty much, they're not going to be really retaining some of the basic knowledge that you would be showing them. What we found is that about 5 years old is about the age where most of the kids, we get them started.
Another question that's pretty common too, and the response is probably going to be similar to the one you mentioned about, being too old, but what if someone is completely out of shape and they just hadn't worked out in the longest time?
If you've been out of shape, if you are out of shape, you've been very sedentary, you do have to understand. So training in Muay Thai is high intense cardio. It really is. I mean, there's a lot of cardio that's involved in it. What I would say is always consult with your primary care physician first and make sure that you are able to do these exercise movements. If and when comes time for you to come and join a gym and you're there, do as much as you can, as best as you can, and stop whenever you need to. That's the best advice that I can give as a coach.
And another question we get quite often is, this is a pretty aggressive full contact sport, right? Am I going to get hurt?
That's a good question too. We do actually have a lot of people that are interested. They have inquiries and they want to know, like, oh, am I going to get hurt? Is someone going to punch me in the face or something like that? Again, when you're starting out in the beginning, you really shouldn't be doing any of the full contact, the advanced training in the beginning. You always want to start off in a structured program that is for either all levels, maybe beginner. You should really learn your foundations. Stance, guard, basic punches, basic defense. That's it.
What if I'm somebody that's just uncoordinated, I've never been athletic, I'm not out of shape, I've just been uncoordinated. Am I going to embarrass myself?
Okay, so the embarrassment factor. So a lot of people are self-conscious about this part and about being uncoordinated, and yeah, everybody's going to be a little bit uncoordinated, especially when you're trying something new, but that shouldn't stop you. I mean, if you're already inquiring about hey, I wonder if I should do this, it's the first time I'm ever doing it, you should go out and do it. It's like you shouldn't feel embarrassed in the sense that I'm going to make a fool out of myself. Here's the other thing too. So when you're in that environment and you're working out and maybe you're a little bit uncoordinated, your partner or whoever you're working with, or even your coach or whoever the instructor is, should be there to help you understand, okay, move this foot this way, keep your hands up here, do this, do that, don't do that, don't do this. They should be there to help support you and guide you, especially in your first class when you're there. You should never be felt embarrassed or put on the spot in the sense that, oh, look at him or look at her. They don't know what they're doing. That's a red flag as far as a bad gym.
Does it help if they've had martial arts experience before, like Taekwondo or boxing or Jiu-Jitsu? Does that translate to Muay Thai?
Yes and no. If you've done training in a different martial art, a different platform, a different discipline, that's excellent. It's excellent for the main reason that you understand, especially if you were there for X amount of years, right? 6 months to a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. you know how time works, right? As far as like investing time to get that that knowledge, to understand how to refine certain techniques. You also understand discipline. You know that you need to be there. You know that you need to be into training. You need to be focused. The other thing also is that sometimes some of the stances and some of the strikes do translate into the other platforms. Having said that, a karate stance is not the same stance as a stance in Muay Thai. Boxing stance is not the same as in Muay Thai, even though many different pieces or components of all of that is relatable to Muay Thai. It's just understanding how to refine the techniques that you've already learned and to make it work. Now, it's also bad in the other sense if you had that knowledge, is that, you know, it could be bad in the sense that you might be stuck in your ways, right? So like a boxer, you might be stuck in your boxing stance, meaning having a side stance. So in Muay Thai, you can't have that side stance because your lead leg is exposed. How are you going to defend it? So it can work both ways.
Will Muay Thai help me defend myself if I need to?
This is actually a loaded question. It's a loaded question in the sense that, what do you mean when you say defend yourself? You mean out on the street against somebody that's trying to talk to you in a weird way? It can help defend, it can help you in your line of defense, but always the main course of action is to never escalate a scenario or a situation. If anything, you want to remove yourself from that situation, especially if you are in a scenario where it's not safe. And that's usually any of those scenarios. Whether you know Muay Thai or not, it should not help empower you to fight back, because you don't know what type of person that is that's on the other end that's yelling at you, right? So you always want to be on the defensive, and you don't want to have any part of it.
All right, hopefully that video was helpful for you guys today. I do want to thank Kru Rob for joining and dropping some knowledge. Kru Rob, where can people find you?
Okay, so you guys can find us, Square Circle, New York, in Lower Manhattan, right in the heart of FIDI, the financial district.
So if you enjoyed the video, do us a solid and hit the like and subscribe button. Until then, we'll be coming out with more videos with Kru Rob. Keep training, stay healthy, and be safe. We'll see you guys next time.